Pre-service English teachers' perceptions, obstacles and experiences when teaching English in the EFL context. Received May 23, 2018 doi 10.5539 AS.v 14N8P102 College of Education, Al-Bahar University, Al-Bahar, Saudi Arabia Correspondence, Rashed Zanan Al-Ghamdi. Email rz000@hotmail.com. Abstracet, Asian Social Science, Volume 14, Number 8, 2018 ISSN, 1911 to 2017 EISSN, 1911 to 2025. Published by Canadian Centre of Science and Education. Rashed Zanan Al-Ghamdi. Accepted June 4, 2018 online. Published July 27, 2018. URL https://doi.org 10.5539 AST VL4N8P102. This article has identified the opinions, perceptions, obstacles and experiences of the EFL pre-service English teacher who participated in a training program in EFL context. In this study, only qualitative data was gathered. The participants in this study were 7 pre-service English teachers aged 23 to 28 years from 7 boys' schools in Al-Bahar City in Saudi Arabia. The researcher interviewed them at the end of the semester of the training program. The findings of this study were that some EFL pre-service English teachers felt that the training program enabled them to increase their confidence and social skills, enabling them to gain more experiences. 1. Introduction. However, there were many disadvantages, barriers and obstacles to practicing pre-service teaching in the training program. These included: some EFL students were naughty and they caused problems in the classroom. The EFI students' English level was very weak, such that they could not communicate in the language, and even they also could not understand the teacher's instructions. Being in the training program and studying at the college at the same time was very challenging for the pre-service English teachers. Also, some their main teachers were not willing to guide them. They were also often shy and embarrassed before there. Via claims that the preparation beaches to prepare. Most complained that they lacked the resources they required to prepare for their lessons, keywords, applied linguistic, teaching English as foreign language. Pre-service English teachers, Saudi Arabia. Tie-in book was difficult for most pre-service English teaching in Saudi Arabia began in 1930, when the Ministry of Education proposed its application in teaching subjects like medicine, science, engineering, and aviation. Alabad, 2009. Learning of this language was made compulsory and was to begin in the 6th to 12th grade in public school. English lessons take place 4 times a week, with each period lasting for 45 minutes. For each student to proceed to the next level, they must pass the English exam. They learn skills like speaking, writing, listening, reading, grammar, and also vocabulary. The education system in Saudi occurs in 5 stages, which include nursery, elementary, intermediate, high school and university level. Al-Ghamdi, 2008. Al-Shumaimri, 1999, claims that Renjengli, English Learning Innovation, Volume 3, Number 1, February 2022, PSSN, 2723 to 7400, ESSN, 2723 to 7419. This is an open access article under the C8YSA license. Pre-service English teachers. Pedagogical competence in teaching English. A case of teaching internship program. Tip. M. Ali Gufron, Ahmed Tawfiq, Mohammed Rizkianto. 12 postgraduate program. IAIN Pekalongan, Central Java. Indonesia IKIP PGRI Bojonegro, East Java. Indonesia corresponding author, m.ali.gufron at ironpekalongan.ac.id. Abstract. BY. Pre-service English teachers, here, PETs, play a critical role in the development of students' academic knowledge, technical skills, social values, and individual personalities, as well as their ability to digest teaching materials properly. Considering what is known as the pedagogical competence, of pre-service English teachers is an important part of this process. This study aimed at evaluating the pre-service English teachers' pedagogical competence in the classroom while instructing pupils in the English language. This study employed a qualitative research approach, especially a case study method with 5 Indonesian pre-service English teachers who participate in a teaching internship program. Tip: to collect information. The researchers used a range of approaches to acquire information from the perspectives of the student teachers. These methods included questionnaires, observations, and observation notes. During the data analysis phase, the researchers used data reduction, data visualization, conclusion writing, and verification to help them make sense of their findings. In addition, the triangulation procedure was used to examine and validate the research phase of their investigation. According to the results of this research, pre-service English teachers' pedagogical competence was good, with an average score of 3.33 out of 5 on the pedagogical competence score, 67%. Pre-service English teachers will benefit from reflection-based instruction and extended teaching practice under the supervision of experienced instructors in English language teaching, ELT, practices. Abstract. Keywords: case study, pedagogical competence, pre-service English teachers, PETS. Student teacher, teaching internship program. Tip: Mahasiswa Calon Guru Bahasa Inggris Memiliki Peran yang penting dalam membantu perkembangan pengetahuan akademis siswa, keterampilan teknis, nilai-nilai sosial, kepribadian siswa, dan juga kemampuan dalam memahami materi pembelajaran dengan baik. Oleh karena itu keterampilan pedagogis bagi mahasiswa calon guru bahasa Inggris adalah suatu bagian penting dalam proses tersebut. Penelitian ini bertujuan untuk mengevaluasi keterampilan pedagogis mahasiswa calon guru bahasa Inggris dalam pengelolaan pembelajaran bahasa Inggris DI. Kalas penelitian ini menggunakan sebuah pendekatan penelitian kualitatif, yaitu metode studi kasus dengan melibatkan 5 mahasiswa calon guru bahasa Inggris yang tel. Demir, F. and Gokkerskert, B. 2024. Perspectives of Pre-Service EFL Teachers on the Role of Social Media in English Language Teaching and Learning. Proceedings of Current Issues in Foreign Language Education Conference. pp. 77-85. Turkestan. ISBN 978-601-339-303-2. Perspectives of PRE Service EFL. Teachers on the Role of Social Media in English Language Teaching and Learning. Furkan Demir. Introduction. MA Student. Kudahaya Dumlupani University. Turkey email. furkandemir0755@gmail.com. Buju Gokkerskert. Assist. Professor Dr. Kudahaya Dumlupani University. Turkey email. buju.gekert@dpu.edu.tr. Abstract. Social media applications and platforms have become integral aspects of our lives, particularly. They have begun to impact education, with language learning and teaching, through social media experiencing an increase in popularity in recent years. While numerous studies have explored the relationship between social media and language learning, there remains a dearth of research on the perspectives of pre-service EFL teachers. This study seeks to address this gap by a mixed methods approach to investigate the perceptions of pre-service EFL teachers. The findings indicate a positive attitude among pre-service EFL teachers toward integrating social media into their language learning and teaching processes, with expressed interest in incorporating it into their future teaching endeavors. The implications of this study are valuably as social media continues to play an increasingly crucial and widespread role in our lives. Keywords: social media, pre-service teachers, attitudes, language learning, teaching English. Social media has grown in popularity as a communication and information sharing phenomenon during the past 10 years. Boyd and Allison, 4, and Keatsman et al., 11. Both refer to social media as web-based tools that enable sharing, connections, group interactions, communication, and profile display. Millions of people use platforms such as Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, TikTok, Snapchat, LinkedIn, who functions like photo and wider PP0UB, and Pinterest, which include arrange chat, networking, and content production. Each platform has distinct features and user demographics, and they are always changing to reflect the most recent fashions and user preferences. According to recent research conducted by Date Report, the most active people on social media are aged between 20 to 29. In this age group, there are also teacher candidates and their probable future students. Social media education has been gaining attention for quite some time because of its positive aspects in schools as well as in academic life. 3. However, there hasn't been much discussion about how social media can be. 77. Journal of Latinos and Education, 8, 2. 176-178 Copyright 2009 Taylor and Francis Group, LLC, ISSN 1534-8431, print 1532-771X online, doi 10.1080, 1534843090275071. Routledge, Taylor and Francis Group, Teaching English Language Learners, K-12, A Quick Start Guide for the New Teacher, Jerry Jaisnes, Thousand Oaks, C.A., Corwin Press, 2004, 152 pages, $27.95, paperback. Francisco Ramos, Department of Language and Culture in Education, Loyola Marymount University. As its title indicates, and its author himself acknowledges in the preface, the state of this book is to provide new teachers of English language, learners, ELs, with a quick start guide that will allow them to work effectively with this specific student population. Thus, through the 101 pages of his volume, Jerry Jaisnes provides an overview of topics related to the teaching of English and academics to ELs. He does so in very simple and accessible language while incorporating practical examples drawn from his own personal experience to illustrate his positions. However, the purpose of the book seems a little ambitious for such a short volume. Additionally, the constant lack of specific references in its pages of 10 leaves the reader wondering whether Jaisnes' comments are sustained by research or simply his own opinions on the issues addressed. The book is divided into 17 chapters dealing with such diverse issues as language assessment, fundamentals and methods of second language acquisition, use of students' primary languages in the classroom, vocabulary building and grammar development, grading and testing, and teaching ELs with special needs. It also includes 41 pages of vocabulary lists on themes as varied as the alphabet, school supplies, numbers, shapes, colors, the human body, expressing emotions, possessive pronouns, baseball, meat and seafood, different types of animals, and computer nouns and verbs, among others. Although Jaisnes makes no mention of a selection criteria, it appears as if his focus revolves around basic communication, students' interests, and students' immediate environment. Lastly, the book concludes with 4 pages of recommended sources, websites, and periodicals, and Chapter 50 opens with Jaisnes' appeal to teachers of ELs to help their students master both the new language as well as the academic content they need to succeed. It is precisely the latter that is often overlooked by the media, which tends to focus exclusively on ELs' rapid acquisition of English as proof of their success. This short-sighted vision clearly obliterates the fact that learning both a second and in a second language is certainly a difficult endeavor for students with limited proficiency in IT. 2. Prunella Fowdal SS at West End Language. Com. From Lucas Lim at westendlanguage.com. Date: the 3rd of September, 2021. Subject: Employment of non-native speakers of English language as TE ACRES 2 Direct. Dear Ms. Faultless, the first paragraph should not be where the bottom line, i.e. the solution, is placed. You need to first draw attention or raise awareness of the problem. There has been a shift in the English language teaching. Services where non-native English teachers are starting to make a stand in the competitive market over native English-speaking daycares. I was taught by a non-native English speaker for one of my modules, Communication Management, when I was a student in Singapore Management University, and I managed to be the top student for the DAS and also made it to the Dean's list. It is an undeniable fact that Asia will be the dominant player in the future of the English language. English, as we have known, has changed drastically over the years, as more and more emphasis is being placed on it being a concept to communicate globally in numerous dialects and varieties. What is the issue? A problem here. Mention how the criticism of bigotry exercised in her employment choices in the ST article has impacted upon her expansion strategy into the Asia-Pacific region. Keeping in mind that Asia is a growing market, the next phase of expansion should be focused on what the market demands and readjusting our strategies to gain a sizable market share. To propel our business further, we must compromise where needed, even if it means compromising the long-standing principle of hiring only native English-speaking teachers. Having said that, I strongly believe that by employing non-native speakers of English language as teachers, West End will still be able to stand a place in the competitive business climate of diversity and multiculturalism. I understand that you are concerned about the quality of teaching, as well as losing the competitive edge and brand image of V West End. However, we are still required to tackle the allegations made to us by the Straits Times. We would also need to cater to the needs of our students, which is to employ a good teacher who is capable of bringing across the message of the important CE of the English language. Although native English speakers provides accurate pronunciation models for learners and understand idiomatic English usage, non-native English teachers have proved to be more than capable in these markets, as they are usually fitted with a wealth of experience in teaching the English language and can anticipate what the local community will require to advance their English language standards. At the face of the allegation on from the Straits Times, we must be swift and decisive in the hiring of non-native English language teachers to prevent a public outroar which could potentially add to boycotting of our services and charges from the Tripartite Alliance for Fair and Progressive Employment Practices, TAFEP, for our hiring practices. Good. Doria Shafiq research paper. Doria Shafiq and her contributions to the Arab women's literature. Doria Shafiq was a feminist and a philosopher. She was also an editor and a poet, and one of the principal leaders of the women's liberation movement in Egypt in the mid-1940s, meaning that she was a women's rights activist. Through her efforts, she fought against women oppression in Egypt. Doria Shafiq was born in Tanta in the Nile Delta of northern Egypt and studied in a French mission school. She was the youngest Egyptian, at the age of 16 years, to earn the French baccalaureate degree. She wrote 2 journals, one focusing on the merely utilitarian ends generally associated with ancient Egyptian art, and the second arguing that Islam amply recognized women's equal rights. One of show more content on helpwriting.net. When she was in Paris, she met and married her husband, Nu Ai Din Regai, a law student who was working on his PhD. When she returned to Egypt from Paris in 1940, upon the completion of her studies, she was more focused in contributing to the education of the youth in her society, but was denied a chance by the Dean or Faculty of Literature in Cairo University with the claim that she was too modern. In 1945, Shafiq was offered an opportunity to be the editor-in-chief of a French cultural and literary magazine addressing the country's elite by the wife of Egypt's then former king Fuad I. After accepting the position, the king's wife died in 1947 and Shafiq took complete control of the union, including its finances. Through her direction, the magazine gained regional status, and also during this period is when she decided to take the opportunity and publish an Arabic magazine that was known as the Daughter of the Nile, with the intention to educate all women in Egypt and also help them have the most effective roles in their society. Her intentions were to ensure that women's primary social problems are solved and included to the country's policies through the union to help women. She also worked to eradicate illiteracy, and in order to see this successful, she set up the American Dream. Aside from the distinctions in the American people, they are comparable in that they all strive for the same goal. For several reasons, many individuals from all over the world moved to the United States of America due to living circumstances being so deplorable that individuals would go to any length to get to America in search of a better life and a fresh start. People would flock to America in search of religious liberty, equality, and better work possibilities. The American dream, however, is substantially different today than it was back then. The American dream is the idea in which equality of opportunity is available to all Americans, allowing them to attain their best hopes and aims. According to the article American Dream, the American dream genuinely began after WWI, when Germans relocated as a result of the failure of the 1848 German Revolution and the desire to break down hierarchical norms. In addition, America was managed quite differently than Germany, and they want a fresh start and something else. However, it was heavily impacted by the gold rush in California in 1849. People began to move to the United States in search of religious freedom, the pursuit of life, liberty, and happiness, as well as equality and a better way of life. America was, and still is, one of the few countries where individuals are entirely free and had the potential to thrive monetarily in the 19th century. Mexicans who cross the border illegally, for example, tend to labor in vocations that no American would ever accept, such as grueling field work. Although there are many parallels, the American dream has evolved from the 19th century to a distinct meaning today. The American dream now entails better